Craig, Matt and I were about to head up Dixon's track for some backcountry trout fishing in the Bar Lakes system on Tasmania's Central Plateau, when a local came out for a look. The young echidna was just curious and not interested in fishing. From the parking area, the track gains 860 metres in altitude over just 4 kilometres. That's pretty steep. The views were spectacular on the way up, with vantage points offering convenient excuses for us to catch our breath. Once you get onto the plateau, the topography levels out and the track fades. We made our way to an unnamed lake to set up our base camp for the next few days. A brief evening rise kept us entertained until it was dark. The Western Lakes region has a rich pioneering pastoral heritage that spans well over 100 years. Dixon's track is a stock route cut by Reg Dixon in the 1950s so he could drive his cattle up onto the Central Plateau for seasonal summer grazing. Grazing in this area ended relatively recently in the early 1970s, prior to the area being made a conservation area and prior to the making of the Walls of Jerusalem National Park in 1982. The next day we walked a circuit of lakes, with the first being Deep Lake. As we approached the lake, we saw a gulp of cormorants, which didn't bode well for trout fishing. We walked from lake to lake, and despite good visibility, we saw very few trout and caught even fewer. This fella's not doing much walking, and he ain't seeing many fish either.
Thought it was the tigers.
Day 3 was no different, so we decided to head back to civilization and try somewhere else. While we did catch a few trout, the fishing fell well short of our expectations for this area. The smoke plume here is from a fire burning near the overland track, about 50 kilometres to the west-southwest of us. This fire is one of 3 major fire incidents caused by a massive series of ground lightning strikes, which occurred in early February 2025. The firefighting campaign lasted 57 days. More than 100,000 hectares of bushland and wilderness were razed. The fire near the overland tract burned almost 1 kilometre of boardwalk and a private accommodation hut owned by the Tasmanian Walking Company. On our way back to civilization, we pondered possible reasons for the relatively poor trout fishing. Could it be the cormorants? We were soon distracted by the views from the edge of the Western Tiers. Fishing's not the only reason you head to these places. We paused for a moment to savour the great view before our trek back to the Plateau, and then spending some time fishing the lowlands.